We're going to call to order the council meeting of August 16th, 2016. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Please place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could you just kindly call the roll?
A quorum is present.
Could you call to order the successor agency and the housing authority as well?
A quorum is present, and Mayor, we have finance on the next page over.
Finance authority as well.
Thank you. A quorum is present.
Any persons wish to address the city council or the successor agency, housing authority, or finance authority on any item on today's agenda may do so at this time. Hearing no comment, we'll close public comment. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Move
Aren't
allowed
registered.
payment.
Second. Madam Clerk.
Council and agency members, Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. Consent calendar items 2 through 5.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members, Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. CSA 2.
Staff report recommending staff be directed to commence certain work and activities necessary for the refunding of a portion of the former Inglewood Redevelopment Agency outstanding 2003A, 2007A tax allocation bonds.
I'll move 1 and 2.
Second.
And the direction to staff is going to be to proceed as was directed in CSA 2. And a second by Councilman Morales. Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. A1,
No oral reports.
CM1, CC1, Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to remind people that the last day to register to vote will be October the 24th, and early voting begins on October the 11th. Thank you very much.
CC1, CT1, CSA 3, H2, and F1.
Monthly Treasurer's Report for the month ending June 30th, 2016.
Receive and file. CC1.
Thank you, Mayor. Give you a brief report on the Treasurer's Report as of June 30, 2016. And again, there are copies on the table outside. And the total cash and investments at June 30, 2016 for the City of Inglewood is $89,620,581. Successor agency, $102,077,705. Housing Authority, $101,234. Finance, Public Finance, $13,533,091. The total cash and investments at June 30, 2016 is $205,332,611. And the interest earning for the City of Inglewood is $46,419, and successor, and that gives the total of the interest. And again, there's copies outside. And also, I would like to congratulate one of our employees, Yvonne James' daughter, who received a full scholarship to UCLA. She has a 4.6 GPA, and that scholarship is at UCLA. And that usually amounts to about $250,000. So certainly congratulations to Yvonne James' daughter. And she's going to be, she's a pre-med major. So again, just like to highlight our kids when they're doing great. That concludes my remarks and my report.
Thank you very much. If there are any persons present wishing to address City Council, any matter connected to a city business not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time. 1 minute. Go ahead, ma'am.
This entire meeting, because your disrespect for actually having staff reports as in years past is proven by this essentially, well, I'm going to go 10-minute meeting, because you have spent so much money and you have realigned everything, and you could not have had a genuine staff report in the 4 minutes before. By the way, I got on the elevator before it was 2 o'clock and I didn't get here till your meeting was already with Ms. Brown giving her report. So you completely did everything with only 2 stops on the elevator, only 9 floors on the elevator that this week happened to be working.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Honorable City Council, my name is Mike Harrell. I am your Public Affairs Manager, your SoCal Gas Public Affairs Manager, assigned to the City of Inglewood. Good afternoon to all of you. I am here to just kind of give you a very, very high briefing regarding energy reliability. We've already had a few flex alerts and heat waves throughout the summer. And so I just kind of wanted to remind everyone to conserve and also to understand the reliability that's associated with natural gas when it comes to heating your water, heating your home if it's ever cold again, and also turning on your electricity. And the reason why I mention electricity, because there is a marriage that exists between natural gas and electricity. We, about approximately 60% of all the electricity that we consume in Southern California has been generated by using natural gas. And we bring natural gas in to the state at the state line, and then we transport it out through areas that it's needed, such as over 17 electrical generation stations, as well as to homes and businesses. And a crucial element of the integrity of our system is our storage facilities. And I liken storage facilities to kind of like shopping at Costco. You go to Costco, you buy something at a less unit price, you buy it in bulk, you take it home, you store it in your pantry, and then when you need it, you pull it out. Our storage facilities are the same way. We buy gas in bulk at a very, very low price. We store it, and then when it's needed, it's there available to supply the needs. So I sent all of you an invite to a reliability workshop that we're having at the end of the month. I invite you to come out or send someone from your staff to come out, learn a little bit more about energy reliability and the relationship between natural gas and electricity, and I hope to see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to each and every one of you. To God be the glory. I am Dr. Gladys Fortner, and my reason for coming today is I have been OD'd 3 times by the doctors in the hospital. I have glaucoma and I have artery spasm. They are refusing to let me use my regular name. They want to tell me what name to use, as well as Medi-Cal keep blocking my insurance so I can't see my doctor. I have 6 teeth at the top of my mouth that need to come out. I've been waiting for 2 years, and you know when you get infection, it will cause other things to go wrong in your body. I have glaucoma. The eye doctors say the glaucoma is causing me to be on hold because of the danger. But right now, they have me blocked. I can't even see the doctor. And I need to go to the doctor because I went completely blind. They did surgery. I got some of my sight back. After I got some of it back, they did the same thing. So I'm about to lose this little eyesight that I have now. I can see you, but I can't see to read. I need assistance. The attorney told me to bring it to the attention of the mayor and the city councilman in Inglewood.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am, you're very welcome. It sounds like your issues with Medi-Cal, that's a state-run pass-through of federal government funding. And we actually have no authority over Medi-Cal, but what we can do, we can have one of our staff people attempt to connect you with the person that would, do you have a caseworker with Medi-Cal?
Well, that's why he told me to talk to you all, because I'm dealing with the county workers.
Okay, I would find it difficult to believe that a county worker responsible for the Medi-Cal program would tell you to come and see the mayor.
No, the county worker didn't tell me.
Okay,
The
all right.
attorney told me to come and
Okay, well,
talk.
your attorney's mistaken about that advice, but all we can do is if you don't have a caseworker or you can't get in touch with your caseworker, we could have a staff person try to find out who your caseworker is and put you in touch with them. But as far as authority over the hospital, the Medi-Cal program, any reimbursements you're due, we have no authority. I'm sorry that your attorney misled you, but what we will do is try and put you in touch with, if you haven't already, your caseworker for Medi-Cal. Right. Thank
Thank
ma'am.
you very much.
You're welcome. Sergeant, would you get her information, please? Yes, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm the guard over at the Holly Park Shopping Plaza, 1035 South Prairie. Now, we have a big issue here where the vendors are threatened, they are scared, and they don't know what to do. I'm trying my best to try and clean this place up, but it seems as though I'm getting nowhere. We have loiterers, we have drug dealing, we have everything going on here. Armed robberies, everything is going down. I'm trying my best to deal with all the situations I can, but I don't know what else to do. I've been in contact with Inglewood Police, yes. I've been dealing with the lieutenants, sergeants, everybody. I've been dealing with Miss Ellers from Community Affairs. I've been to the Inglewood.
Senator Eller.
Yes, Senator Ellers. Yes, I've been there. I've been through the steps, and it seems that we're not getting nowhere.
And how
I
would
was
you-
told to come address the city council to see what
Okay,
can be done.
and when you say you aren't getting anywhere, are you talking about frequency of crime, the types of crime, and when you say loiterers, how do you define loiterers? Because it is a public shopping plaza, so you know that there's no law against being somewhere that's a public place, right?
Yes, but
Okay.
in a reasonable amount of time.
No,
after-
actually, there's no reasonable amount of time in a public place to be someplace as long as you're not violating the law. So what I'm trying to do is get some specific information. Is when you say, are you saying frequency of crime, types of crime? Well, I heard what you said about loiterers, but you didn't mention a crime associated with loitering. That's not a crime, but go ahead.
Okay, yes, we're speaking on drug dealing.
Okay,
We're speaking on armed robberies.
okay,
We're speaking on guns being pulled on the vendors.
really?
We're speaking of drugs being sold inside the vendor's establishment.
And they call the police when these things happen?
They're scared, so they call me. I work for the owner of the shopping center.
Okay.
I come in and I try and straighten out what needs to be straightened out.
Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Sergeant Blaylock over there is going to take your information, and we're going to have one of the lieutenants talk to you, and we're going to try to sort out the things that the police department can help you with. We don't allow drug dealing in this town. We certainly don't allow armed robberies. This is the first I've heard of armed robberies in that location. But let's see what's been reported and has not been reported. The vendors cannot depend upon you to relay secondhand crime information, because if there are crimes, we have to be able to investigate them. We have to be able to get suspect descriptions. We have to be able to do the things to bring people to justice. So the first thing that has to happen is, after the sergeant gets your information, then I'm going to send somebody over there to do canvass those vendors and to corroborate the things that you're telling us and to get some better information firsthand of what actually is occurring. So I really do appreciate the fact that you're willing to stand up and speak for so many people, but that's not the way that we're going to be able to solve the problem, because anecdotal information will never get us solid evidence to prosecute people, okay? All right.
Well, this was one of my
No,
reasons to come to you guys, because I was asked by the vendors to see exactly how we can go about coming together where they can come and speak for themselves as well without being threatened or being.
Well, and that's why if they're spoken to in private by the police department, they won't have to fear any retribution. But anyway, thank you very much, sir.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. I was just wondering, is that the shopping center right across from Hollywood Park?
Yes, I think he's talking about the little strip mall that's between the you know where Sambo's used to be, and then there's a mall there, and then there's a little strip that's just on the other side of the 7-Eleven, just south of the 7-Eleven. I think that's what he's talking about.
Absolutely, that's ridiculous.
Well, hold on a second. Are you talking about Hardy and Prairie, the entirety of that runs all the way almost to Arborvitae? So he's talking about. Well, actually, I know the owner of the owner of that.
Casa Rio?
Oh, so that's the same property. Actually, I know the owner of that property. He's never said anything about this. But go ahead.
And they got a bunch of people that hang out there. Every time I go through that, they out there cussing, dope, smoking dope and everything. I
Okay.
can verify that.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I appreciate the gentleman coming in here. Maybe we can get something going, clean that place up. We need to take a bulldozer.
Let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about the entirety of the property that extends from Hardy and Prairie almost to the 7-Eleven at Arborvitae and Prairie, and not just a little strip between just south of the 7-Eleven.
I want to congratulate my police department in the beautiful city of Inglewood. They are fabulous. They've done a great job. I'm proud of them. Absolutely.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Councilman. I listened to two speeches during the beginning of the football negotiation and is getting it here. They said they would have so many minorities from Inglewood and so many Inglewood residents.
Actually, they never mentioned.
I cannot hear you.
No, they didn't mention so many minorities. It was a 35% goal for local hire.
Okay, that's the percentage I want you to bring up. I turned in every application needed to be turned in, and I have not heard anything from you, my councilman, Mr. Franklin. I asked for a JOB. I didn't ask for a special kind because I have 4 trades in me. I'm an electrician by trade, retired, welder by trade, not retired, and I can label because that's what they started me on in Alabama. I talked to AJ. AJ said, Mr. Bates, you don't need to work. I said, oh, brother, I do. You see how flabby he got? Just take a look at him, look at that. I don't want to get like that. I can still carry 2 16-foot 2x4s on my shoulder. I can still dig a hole. These things I can do. So don't be telling me no farther than this week that it's not a job out there. Because, see, I'm going to tell you what I did. In Buffalo, New York, in the beginning, 1955, we wrote a letter to a person, and it didn't take but 3 weeks to get on the job. Please don't let me have to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd.
Afternoon, Mayor, City Council, and staff. My name is Aldine Sly, and I live in the 1st District. I just wanted to come up here and say that it is so ridiculous that you're only allowing people who have something to say to you or questioning you 2 minutes. 2 minutes is not enough. Our problems are deep, and they're getting deeper. But I can understand now why you've cut it down to 2 minutes, because everything can't be said that needs to be said. You arranged it that way. And the meeting's at 2 o'clock. Most of the people in here are your staff. They work for you. But the people who have real problems cannot get here because they're at work doing their jobs. I think the mayor and the city council and the staff need to rethink this whole thing and make it possible for the residents of this community to come and voice whatever problems they are having, whatever compliments they want to pay you, but they need the time and they need the hours. 2 o'clock in the afternoon does not work. Now, I heard on TV this morning that some young men in military garb with huge military weapons were walking through the streets of Inglewood. And the police were able to confine them, but from what I understand from the news, they were not from Inglewood. I'd like to know what's going on. What is the plan? Because I know there's a plan. So be honest with the community. Tell us what's going on. Tell us what is going on. And one more thing, and I thank you for the extra time. I'm wondering how many events does the city of Inglewood plan to have at the forum? Because they are offering their services at a very high rate. That's my tax dollar. I'm wondering how that's going to affect the NFL when the Rams finally get here. Are the taxpayers going to have to pay for their services? There's a lot of questions out here, and people are not getting answers. So those are just some things that I'd like for you to think about. Change the time of the meetings, change the amount of time that residents are allowed to speak, and give us more information about what our tax dollars are going to be going for in the future. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mayor, council members, I live in District 2 in the Ivy Beach area, and I'd like to bring the attention of the drastic parking shortage that there is in that area. Donnelly Farms, they're good. They're a good company, I understand, but they were allowed to grow and expand, and they hired a lot more employees than the parking would be allowed. I mean, the residents, they have to spend, as for me, sleepless nights waiting for a parking space to open up at 12 midnight when shift changes. That's when I could find a parking space where I live. I was wondering if there's a way you could figure out how, Donnelly Farms could have enough employee parking and allow the residents to have parking for themselves too. Because a lot of residents have the same problem as I do. I've gotten 2 tickets blocking my own driveway, not blocking the sidewalk, but blocking my driveway because I couldn't find a parking space. So I'd like to, if you could address that situation for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Here we'll close public comment, council comment. Councilman Dotson, District 1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I would like to comment about our wonderful police department we have. That incident that I saw on the news, to me, could not have been handled any better by any department in the United States of America. That could have been a very, very traumatic event. But because of the training and the expertise we have in our department, it turned out to be nothing. So my hat's off to them. Thank you for your service. I would like to also thank Second Avenue Block Club, the 8th Avenue Block Club, and the ABC Round the Block Club. I attended those 3 block club parties, had a wonderful time. It's always great to see neighbors out having a good time with neighbors and introducing new neighbors. So that's how our neighborhoods stay like they do. And that's one great thing about Inglewood. Inglewood has neighborhoods where people care about one another. And the only way you're going to do that if you meet them and know what they're all about. So with that, thank you all for coming out, and we'll see you next week.
Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Thanks, Mayor. First off, Mr. Guzman, you contacted my office and talked to my assistant about your parking issues, and we're continuing to look into that matter as far as parking on Ivy Street and the surrounding area. So your concerns are being addressed. No worries. Second, our police department, one of the finest around, and this morning I received phone calls from not only residents that saw what happened on the news, but from our fire department and other police officers that I worked with in the past, commending the Inglewood Police Department on the way they handled that situation that could have turned ugly in a second. And I want to commend the men and women and Chief Fronterata for his leadership out there, making sure that that situation was handled appropriately. So again, I commend our men and women on the Inglewood Police Department for a job well done. Second is that I want to invite everybody to our chili cook-off and picnic on September the 10th, which is Saturday, starting at noon. We are still looking for a couple of folks that want to enter the chili cook-off. So if you have some chili expertise and you want to be a part of it, please call my assistant, Ramon, at area code 310-412-8601. With that, I want to thank you for taking time out to come to our meeting today. And if you look out at who's here, I'm counting at least 18 to 20 folks, easy, that are here that are not city staff. So overwhelmingly, the people in this meeting are not city staff. So I just want you to know that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Franklin, District 4.
Yes, let me just piggyback with what my colleague was saying, because I got an early morning wake-up call from the Chief of Police, Mark Fronterata, and I just want to thank him personally and the police department for all the training that they have been given in preparation for issues, what we dealt with earlier this morning. And because of this training and the leadership that we have in the police department, we was able to resolve a very volatile situation. I also want to personally thank our mayor, who has the background of law enforcement, when he was cornered by the press to be able to answer key questions and comments that even the reporters was not even aware of on how volatile this situation could have been had there been any fire exchange. And so, again, Mayor, congratulations on representing this city as we know you always do, but with your background in the police department, it even added more energy to your remarks, et cetera. I want to also continue with that same echo of sentiments, and I ask my Sergeant of Arms to please make note of this. I have an area called the Inglewood Knolls, and recently we've had some crime issues that have occurred that is still currently under investigation. And I'd be remiss if, based on the block club captains that approached me to make sure I let the police department know that Captain David Salcido, Officer Shay McCurdy, and Officer David Lomas did an outstanding job on addressing the issues, getting the forensic information that they needed to on this ongoing investigation of what's going on in that area. And spontaneous, very professional. That's all I kept hearing. They're so professional, and spontaneous. And so I want to make sure that the officers are aware of that. And then in conclusion, I just want to acknowledge that you heard the gentleman speak earlier, Mike Harrell from the Southern California Gas Company, to share with us about gas use. I also want you to be made aware that Mike Harrell came to our town hall meeting in District 4 and put us on notice that the pipelines, the new lines they installed on Crenshaw Boulevard, now need to be tested. So if you're in the area between 104th on the north to go south to the 105 freeway, over the next several months, up until the week of Thanksgiving, there's going to be disruption and lane closures as they're testing those pipes. So you may want to make some alternative routes as you're going up and down Crenshaw Boulevard. And on that note, everyone have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Morales, District 3.
Like everybody everybody else, I want to start by commending our police department and the chief of police. The fact that we have two law enforcement professionals up here actually helps. You know, it allows the chief not to be second-guessed. They're all on the same page. I can't tell you how crucial the way that they handled today's incident was. But you don't hear that on the news. You always hear, now what you're hearing is, why didn't they cause any commotion? That was the big question today. Before it was, why did they do what they did? Now it's like, why didn't they stir it up? I can't say enough about our police department and the way the chief handles it, and all of his years of service here to the city of Inglewood just continues to pay off. So I commend them for that. Jobs, somebody mentioned jobs and how we are shooting for local folks to get jobs. You know, I check periodically for the Hollywood Park development, and I know that they're currently above 30% in Inglewood folks. Now, when we first shot that goal for the forum, I think we requested 25%, and we have significantly gone over.
40.
Every month. We're about at 40, always between 35 and 40% for the folks working in the forum. That's amazing. That's an amazing place to be. Now, we have a long way to go. Hollywood Park has many jobs coming, but you don't go from your couch to you know, building buildings. It takes a minute to get trained and to join those union kind of apprenticeship, get trained and get on the job. So we have to understand that. But even with those obstacles, we've seen the percentages completely overcome what we had even requested. So that's that. Now, in regards to having the ability to come here and discuss your issues with us, you know, we all welcome them. And just so you know, the best way to do it is probably to come directly to us in our offices. We all have them. We all have a phone. If you believe that 2 or 3 minutes in front of us here is better than a half hour in our office, you know, I have to tell you that it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. Now, if you want to come here and discuss something with the public, this is the place to do it. But if you really want to tell us how we can help you, you can do it in our office, and all of us have a phone number, and we're all open to meeting with you. In regards to parking, I just want to hit it real quick, that parking has become an issue throughout the city, and there's no easy fix. I know that we're currently moving towards a study to develop a plan citywide, which is extremely important to address that issue with the stadium coming and the constant movement of new business. So I want you to know that there's a long-term plan coming about. It's not going to be overnight, but we recognize the issues there. Outside of that, Mayor, just thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Franklin, thank you very much for your kind words. I do want to speak a moment on the incident that occurred last night sometime around 11:30. There were two young men that had what appeared to be urban assault rifles slung on their shoulders. They were in camouflage type of gear, and they were making statements that would tend to indicate that they were attempting to provoke a police response. And the officers used enormous restraint, cover and concealment, and attempted to talk these individuals into laying down what could have been real arms, it could have been false arms, could have been loaded, who knows what. But what they didn't do, and I'm going to commend Chief Franorata for this, because when they called them, he took personal command by phone of the tactics that were employed. What they didn't do was provoke a gun battle, because we have urban assault rifles too. And this was somewhere in the area of Crenshaw Boulevard. Most people don't realize that those weapons are usually chambered for 3 rounds that travel at about 2,800 feet per second. Those rounds are deadly up to a mile away. Those rounds will penetrate stucco, plaster, they will enter homes. And so to make a decision to engage a gun battle like that in an urban area is a serious decision to make, and should be only made if you are certain that your life or someone else's life is in imminent danger. And I give so much credit to those police officers for containing the situation. The subjects ended up going mobile. They had the LAPD helicopter above. They followed them to a location. I believe it was out in the valley. I'm not certain. Again, when they got out of the vehicle, they didn't surrender, and they used less lethal munitions to bring them down, and they're in custody now, and now it's being sorted out to find out what crime, if any, occurred. Police work is difficult work, but our police department in this instance did an outstanding job. I was taken to task on KNX about, they basically were intimating, why didn't you move more aggressively towards these people? And I explained just what I explained to you. Then they had an expert, Tyler Eisen, come on after me, and he told them the exact same thing. So bravo to Chief Ronarata and the Inglewood Police Department about the opportunity to speak. You know, I continue to be amazed at the fact that the negative that I hear here on Tuesdays. That's it. Now, I hear intelligent critiques by email. I get emails all the time about traffic at the forum, about a tree that's fallen, so on and so forth. And I or my staff, we respond to people almost immediately, and they're very grateful for that. But I would tell you that in walking around, eating in town, shopping in town, driving through town, let me tell you something. It is universal. People, like, I went in Fiesta Martin last night, and a couple was sitting at one of the circular tables near the window. They said they lived on 84th Street, and they said they'd never felt more proud to live in the city of Inglewood. And they thanked me and the council for changing the environment of the city. And that's what I hear. And you know what? They didn't have to leave their houses to come down here to say it. And because you know what? All of us on this dais are all around this city 7 days a week. And let me tell you, if there was this overwhelming discontent, we would have heard it by now. And we definitely discussed the issues for the city. But complaints, that's not a big part of the environment. It's usually one or two people, and honestly, it's usually on Tuesday. Whether it's 2 o'clock or it's 7 o'clock, it's one or two or three people. That's it. So I don't believe that people are being disenfranchised or being kept to have an opportunity to voice complaints. We have telephones, we have office hours. I know that I'm here 60 hours a week, and I know that I will take an email from anybody and answer you and make sure that staff gets to you to take care of your problem. So I feel that actually having these meetings at 2 in the afternoon have made them much more productive, because if the length of a meeting was indicative of the effectiveness of a meeting, then before I took office, we would have been a billionaire city, okay? Because we took a lot of time. We were here 6 and 7 hours, and sometimes we adjourn the meeting and come back the next day still to do nothing. And we don't intend to, as long as I'm chairing the meetings, we don't intend to return to that. We have the Forum, #1 concert venue in the state of California, #2 in the country, #4 in the world. We have the world's largest, most beautiful football arena that's going to be in operation in 2019. The Super Bowl will be here in 2021. We will likely be the site for the opening game ceremonies for the World Olympics in 2024. We're going to make overtures to the NC2A to have a Final Four here. Things that you could never dream of talking about in years past. You wouldn't even consider it because it would be ridiculous to consider. So I don't buy that there's this well of discontent that if only the meeting was at 7 o'clock, then we'd hear what was really going on. I don't believe that. And I don't think anybody else believes that. So the beautiful thing is you're welcome to say whatever you want, but you're not welcome to your own set of objective reality. Objective reality is this. I was in Sacramento must have been last Monday, and they were receiving us in the legislature, in the Senate and the Assembly, and the governor's office to praise us for bringing the NFL back to California, to talk about the $350 million annual benefit they expected it will reap for the state treasury, to talk about the pride that it has brought back to this state to have the Rams back in the Los Angeles area. The Senior Center will open in November of 2017 after being talked about for 10 years. Century Boulevard is being renovated even as we speak. Hollywood Park Casino opens this month. The new casino opens this month. There is no city in this country, the United States of America, that has as much going on at one time, week after week, as does the city of Inglewood. And so I feel forced to say this because there just isn't that much to be unhappy about. We have some bad things happen, and we're dealing with them consistently. Nothing, no entity that is as complex and provides as many services as the city of Inglewood does not have mistakes happen, does not have errant employees do errant things. But the question is, how do you handle things when they go wrong? And we handle them effectively, transparently, swiftly, and with certainty. And so with that, I'm going to talk about parking. Let's talk about parking. Let's be real about this. When this city was built, it was built with a certain expectation that there'd be a certain amount of residents. And when it was built, no one dreamed there'd be 115,000 people, that there would be a forum, that there'd be a racetrack, that it would be anything but a bedroom community. And so what did they do when they had their building codes? They required so many spaces for parking for apartment buildings. Well, that's kind of obsolete now. Kids stay home longer. There are more cars per household. We now have more people coming to the city for recreation. And there are only so many square miles of streets and so many linear feet of parking. So there's always going to have to be some type of compromise made. We're not going to say, well, we're not going to have visitors. We're not going to allow people to have their kids stay with them. So it's always going to be a balancing act. I don't think it's ever going to be completely solved. But the way to completely solve it is not to say, we don't ever want to have an attraction here that brings other people into the city. Because cities that depend on their indigenous sales taxes and property taxes get by in the best of time. They struggle in every recession. Cities that do well are entertainment destinations. And if I can quote the distinguished counsel from Council 2, we want to be a destination not that people drive through, but a destination that people drive to. Well, Inglewood is a destination that people drive to now, and with that comes its own set of unique challenges. But I will take those challenges any day to being poor. I've been poor in this city, and doing better feels much better. Lot better. And with that, we're adjourned.